Hey, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director, David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, more little library free book exchanges are added around the city, and grants make major improvements in the historic Westside possible. Here to discuss these topics and a whole lot more is, of course, the councilman who represents Ward 5. You know who it is, Mr. Cedric Crear. Welcome back. How are you?
Hello, David. How are you?
It's good to see you.
Glad to be back. A lot to talk about.
We have a big show today.
We
full
do. We always
show.
have a big show.
I know, lots going on in Ward 5.
Yeah, a lot of happenings and a lot of moving parts and just so much positive things that are going on. It's just real exciting times.
It is exciting, and we're going to talk about a lot of that today. So, first of all, if you're not exactly sure where Ward 5 is located, hey, he knows it like the back of his hand. But if you're not sure, we're going to show you. There it is on the map. Appropriately enough, it's the area with the 5 on it. It encompasses some of our downtown, but goes all the way out into the northwest, too. Runs kind of along the north side and east side of US 95. If you live in that area, work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And, of course, if you're a resident there, you are represented on the Las Vegas City Council by Cedric Crear. You love volunteers. We love when they help do things around the city, especially when it comes to things where we need a lot of people. And you had an amazing cleanup, you and Councilman Knudsen at Rainbow Family Park. But that's kind of been just the first domino to fall about a whole bunch of cleanups going on. Yeah,
it is. And first I have to thank Councilman Knudsen for having me over at Rainbow Park. My brother lives in that area, and they were doing the cleanup with Get Outdoors Nevada, and I asked him if I could join.
Your brother right there,
my brother right there. I asked him if he would mind if I joined him to help clean up and do some things, and he graciously said would love to have me. And so it was great. And then he also had the groundbreaking for the new playground that's there for the kids, and it was a combination of a lot of things. And it's a micro cleanup where you go around picking up small cigarette butts to plastic bags, small stuff that you don't normally get with the large trash cleanups and trash removal. So it was great. It's a beautiful day. So many people from the community came out, and like I always say, we need the community to make the biggest difference in our society as a whole. You know, government can't do everything, and so it's the people, and people came out, and it was great.
Well, especially the cleanup, like you're talking about, Councilman. I mean, we've got great parks people that clean things, but to get to all the minuscule things, cigarette butts, all the teeny tiny things that get thrown
small little
down.
cans that get in the middle of a fence, and it's just so important. And it was great. We're going to work around to do parks in our ward as well to get going. It'll be a continual thing. So we continue to keep our parks clean.
Before the end of the show, we'll tell you how to get in touch with Councilman Crear's office staff, and if you'd like to be part of a volunteer effort, boy, we'd love to have you come out.
We do. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah, you got 100 people out there. It's amazing what the park looks like when it's all
done.
Yeah, good stuff. Councilman, I love this too. Love when new things are going on, especially in the year that we've had. You posted this on Facebook. You said the Cox Communication Innovation Lab at the Strong Future Technology Training Center has officially opened. And Councilman, I'm sure a lot of people are not familiar with what this effort is.
So, you know, when we first came in office, we created something called Ward 5 Works. Unemployment in our ward was at 15%, and we had to do something to get people trained, ready, and prepared to go to work. And this is exactly what we are doing. The first phase of a 2-phase project with our Workforce Center will be the opening of this, which is our STEM Workforce Center that's there. We received a great donation from Cox Communications locally. Thank you, Michael Bolanini and Derek Hill and Stephanie Stallworth and Craig Stevens and the whole team at Cox for helping us put that together. And they funded all of the equipment on the inside, and it's all high-tech equipment. And so we're training people in the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, math, and to get them trained for jobs of the future. We want people to go into entry-level, high-paying jobs that's going to not only change their life, their family's life, and our community's lives. The cool thing is, in addition, we hosted our first esports tournament there.
Yeah, I heard
and
about that.
That's fantastic. Like, I never in my entire life would have thought that we would have had an esports tournament located in the historic Westside. We're bridging the Westside into the future, which is fantastic. We have another one planned for this upcoming weekend. We had also a sign up at Marble Manor for people to come out to sign up for the classes that are going to be taking place there. We want people to get jobs. And that's, like I said, that's phase one. The second phase is the Csn Workforce Center that's going to train people in construction, manufacturing, and trades, we'll talk about. information technology, and healthcare.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, we got to get people ready for jobs.
Yep.
Got to get people trained. Got to get them ready. We got to get people working.
Especially as things start opening up again. Here we talked about the pandemic. It seems like we're maybe on the downside of this. At least we're hoping that we are. And so, yeah, it's time to get everybody back in the workforce.
It is. And also, look, we have to get people ready for the jobs of the future.
Yep.
We have other workforce centers around that are training them for the jobs that historically been here, especially within the hospitality industry. We're grateful for that industry and grateful for all the work that they provide. But, we're growing as a community. We are diversifying as a community. We're going into, I would say we are going into, but we're in the middle of a technological age.
Yeah.
And people have to be prepared for that.
Yep.
And hopefully people won't be intimidated by it. And I don't care if you are 18 or if you're 75, you can still learn about technology, and that can help you bridge the gap for you in moving to the future.
Yeah. So many
It's
cities,
here.
So many cities have done that in the past. Pittsburgh, perfect example. Steel City, steel industry went away,
Yes.
so they had to reinvent themselves. The population there.
No
had
doubt
to,
about it.
And so technology was one of the avenues that they used.
They have
So,
to.
yep.
And if you look at that area in Pittsburgh and West Virginia, and all of the blight that was caused by those industries, abandoning them, they have to reinvent yourself. And we have no choice. And so we shouldn't make it where it's intimidating. We want to make it where it's easily accessible for you to learn these new trades, hence the Workforce Center directly in the ward versus you having to travel 35, 45 minutes someplace, which can be a huge impediment for many.
Sure.
And so here we are bringing it into the community. You can get up, walk over to the facility and get trained. We also will work with you for workforce placement once you have those training, those certificates. Had a great,
That's exciting.
Yeah, had a great conversation with some of our utility companies and working on them to get some training in place so that people can go there and then have pipelines for jobs.
Nice.
Because look, we're only as good as the jobs we're able to help you get into as well. You can get all the training you want to.
Yeah, there's no work. Yeah.
But if there's no work, then great. I appreciate it. I have the certificate that says I was trained X. So we need to work on both sides. And then we're also working with businesses, like as I mentioned, to create those pipelines into those jobs. And we're bringing more industry and more jobs into our community as well. So the overall goal is for you to be able to get to live, get trained, and work right in our community.
Exciting. It's really good stuff. Well, Councilman, of course, the first step to a good job is a good education. I love this. These new little libraries have cropped up in your ward and around the city. And folks, if you're not familiar, you're going to love this concept because you're going to see what these things look like. But the idea, Councilman, and there's one, it's right behind the Councilman. Tell everybody what the new little library, what the idea behind this is.
Well, the concept is simple, and it's so simple that makes it great. We set up these little libraries set up throughout the community, where you can leave a book, take a book. I just put the first book into our little library there that I donated, but we donated a number of books. They're free of charge. We ask you to be respectful of the little libraries. If you take a book, either bring it back for others to read, or put a new book in there for someone to read. You walk up, free of charge, grab a book, and hopefully you will leave one behind. So little libraries, and I think it's a fantastic concept. I'm a big proponent of reading a book and then passing it forward. Not big on the digital side of it, just for the mere fact that you cannot pay it forward. I like to take books and donate it to the library or give them to a friend. Plus, I like the fact that you can hold a book and spend some time reading a quality book. So I am a big fan of it, and I donated the first book, which I'm happy to say.
Very nice. Well, you see those around. You see those little structures around. You wonder what it is. Those are the new little libraries.
Grab a book, and it's also for kids.
Yeah.
And go in. Many people might not have access to quality books for children. So look, go right there, grab a book or two for your kids, have them read it, bring it back, put another one in, and there goes your library.
That's all there is to it.
All there is to it.
Yeah,
very simple. Usually the most simplest things are the best things.
That's true. That's true. Very, very true. Councilman, something not so simple coming in the future is a whole redo of US 95 east of the Spaghetti Bowl, also known as I-515. This is going to be a major renovation of the project, of the road. Now, this isn't going to happen anytime immediately, but what NDOT the Nevada Department of Transportation wants to hear now is your feedback, because they're going to potentially close some of these streets.
Right. So looking to create better access into the downtown corridor, and Councilwoman Olivia Diaz and I share a boundary of wards 5 and wards 3, and so we are working with NDOT to find the best route to create those entry zones into the community. One of the things that we're doing now is that we're setting up some barriers on 7th Street, 8th Street, and then do some testing, and we're looking for people's feedback.
Right.
This is the time to do it. One of the things that happens is that after the whole thing is done, people will come up and they'll say, well, wow, I didn't know about this.
I didn't know this was happening.
I know this was happening, or, no one asked me, or no one,
I didn't know we were closing that street. Yeah.
This is your time. And so for more information, contact my office, or you can always contact NDOT. But please, do what you can. Go out, give your thoughts, give your opinions. That's what this time is for. And we're going to take that and rally it and then figure out what's the best route.
The project is called the Downtown Access Project, NDOT, DAP, NDOT.com. Folks really want to hear your feedback, because this project is going to be such a major change to that corridor that some of the streets that you're accustomed to traveling on are going to close. And that's really what the councilman's driving at. If you've got an issue with a particular street closing, they need to hear from you.
Yeah, but ultimately, it will be for the better for the community. And the cool thing is that we're bringing more people down to our downtown corridor.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we're looking to not create that pinch point around the Spaghetti Bowl for 95 and 15. Especially if you're going eastbound, and because it gets kind of squirrely a little bit right there. And we want to do something about it.
Two things are going to happen, folks. In the short run, they're going to do some renovation, seismic improvements of the current viaduct. If you come on 95 east of the Spaghetti Bowl, you're on that elevated roadway. They're going to do some things just to make sure that continues to be safe. It's going to mean some traffic lanes narrowed down, a little bit of a bottleneck there as that goes on. But what Councilman and I are talking about, this project, Downtown Access Project, that is going to be a major renovation of the road itself. The viaduct's going to go away, and there's going to be either a road at grade or even potentially below grade.
But potentially below grade, and then it'll affect both sides of 95 to 515 on the north and south side as well.
Exactly.
But like I said, ultimately, I think it's for the best, and we have to go through these tough times in order to get to the future. We did it with Project Neon.
We made it.
We made it. We're here. And
now here we go again.
Right, and here we go again. I should say, here we grow again.
Here we grow again. Yes. Now, I want to point out this project that we're talking about, the major change, that is a ways down the road. Not going to happen immediately, but they want to get your feedback now so they can get this thing planned. So, all right. Councilman, you posted this on social media. You said, here we grow again. Our Historic Westside Gateway billboard is almost ready to light up. Located at the I-15 and Washington exit, it is a beautiful symbol of our rich history. There it is. Look at that.
It is. I have to give a thank you to Lamar Outdoor Advertising for working with us. The city of Las Vegas has these parquet signs, we call them, which are billboards, but the parquet signs, and we have them on 95, we have one on Decatur, and you've seen them with the city of Las Vegas sort of brand around it. And they were going to do another one there, which is great. But I said, you know what? Well, we need to do something a little bit different, because this is a special part of the city. And as we tied our gateway signs on 95 and MLK, as well as you see our monument signs throughout the community, when people get off at Washington, they're going into a special place. And I asked them if they would be willing to create something special which highlights the rich history of the Historic Westside. And they said yes. We would love to do it. We would love to work with you. Sounds great. We had a number of designs. This one came out. It shows the music scene. It takes a Historic Westside brand similar to the Moulin Rouge brand, ties it all in together, and here we are with this great billboard with the extender on it, and it's just great. I tell you, I'm so excited. I can't wait for it to light up, and then we can also utilize it to highlight events that are taking place in Historic Westside. If we if we have concerts or we have events taking place, we can utilize that to say, hey, pull in for a farmer's market happening today, or
whatever it might be,
jazz concert tonight. So we can utilize that.
You've also got gateway signs as you come in that aren't that big, but still light up and let you know you're in the historic Westside as well.
Look, I've said this. I think we live in one of the most special places in the entire city. Outside of the Strip and downtown, you aren't really going to find a lot of areas of town that has as much rich history as it does in the Historic Westside. And so people need to know that they're traveling through or traveling within a very special place. And a lot of people have heard about the Historic Westside, but they really don't know where it is and what it's about. So we're changing that in a major way.
Exactly. And speaking of the Historic Westside, you posted this on social media. You said we are moving forward with the 100 plan in action. There's one of the signs I was just referring to right there, in fact. Councilman, for those that don't know, what is the 100 plan?
So the 100 plan is the Historic Urban Neighborhood Redevelopment Plan. And what we've had was a plan that highlights exactly where we're going, what we're doing, how we're going to get there. But what we created is the 100 plan in action, because that highlights the fact that how are we going to do the things we said we want to do. And I didn't want to have another plan in place where we talked about it and then it sat on the shelf and nothing happened.
Just drew dust.
So the next question is, great, how are you going to execute on the strategy? Well, the 100 plan in action lays that out. It talks about the heavy lifts, has definable goals, timelines, expectations, where we're going, how we're going to get there. And we're just, moving off of that plan. The cool thing is that if you ask anybody what's going on with the Historic Westside, you can turn to this plan and you can say, well, we said we're going to do Ward 5 Works and Workforce Center. Yes. We said we're going to, look into an African American museum with the Performing Arts Center. Yes. We said we're going to do the Historic Westside Legacy Park. Yes, construction has started. We said we're going to look at mixed income affordable housing. Yes, that started. We said we're going to look at the revitalization of Jackson Avenue, which we call Jackson Street. Yes, that's happening with the Complete Street program that's taking place. We're moving forward with a number of initiatives, and I tell you, it's just great to be a part of it. It's a fantastic time to be within Ward 5 and Historic Westside. It's just really exciting. You got a great vibe moving forward.
And it is moving forward. That's the thing. And we're checking these off as we go.
Yep. I always say we don't do this job to check off all that we've done. But in the day, we have to hold ourselves accountable for the work that we do. My philosophy has always been, we're in these positions for a finite amount of time. This will come to an end. What are you going to do to make a difference? And you can actively see what we are doing, which is great.
And that's the thing, Councilman. You hit it on the head. So often, we'll come up with a strategic plan, but whether or not the plan actually gets executed is always the question.
Yeah, and, it's not one person's fault, right? You can't say, well, you stopped because of this. Timing has a lot to do with it. The economy has a lot to do with it. One of the things that we did when the pandemic hit and the economy shut down was, I pulled Dr. Lisa Morris-Hibbler aside and Scott Adams and said, hey, we cannot stop progress on this. We have to keep moving forward. We've got great momentum. And to their defense, they did. Our new city manager, Jorge Cervantes, is completely on board. We're moving forward. Tom Perigo. It takes so many people to put this together and execute on it. And I've said this once, and I'll say it 1,000 times. We have so many smart people that work in the city of Las Vegas, dedicated, hardworking, smart people. A lot of my job is to help create the strategy, keep the foot on the pedal, and then get out of the way and let the smart people do what smart people do.
Good plan. It's a good plan. Well, speaking of making sure things are moving forward, this is great. Some wonderful grant money coming into the Historic Westside. Good stuff. $25,000 for visual improvements. This is the new Westside Oasis Bar and Lounge at Lake Mead and D. But even bigger than that, the $6.9 million for the Westside Education and Training Center. Holy
I tell you, it's just very, very rewarding to see. Working with the Economic Urban Development Department, the Redevelopment Agency, EUD, and creating visual improvement grants, which are grants that the city offers for businesses that are rehabilitating the exterior of their buildings. You put in some dollars, we'll match up to $25,000. We also had another apartment complex we just approved for $50,000 for interior revitalization, then $25,000 for exterior for an apartment complex on Washington and F, which has been abandoned for decades. And it's just great to see this investor who's coming in and putting $1 million into rehabilitating that facility. Wow. The city's helping them out. On the flip side, we've got a $6.9 million EDA grant, which is, my understanding, is the largest grant that the state of Nevada has received from the Department of Commerce for EDA, which is fantastic. And look, it happened right in the historic Westside. Yeah. It happened because of our, look, we had this 100 plan in action, and we submitted that to the Department of Commerce. They saw what we were doing. We partnered with CSN. We saw the need for workforce development in construction, manufacturing, and trades, in information technology, in healthcare. We know the need that's there. They saw the need. I have to get a thank you also to Congressman Stephen Horsford and our whole entire congressional delegation for lending support to get us those grants that they sent in to the Department of Commerce. And here we are. We're going to be starting construction on that Workforce Center under our Ward 5 Works initiative later on this year.
That's exciting. That's
extremely exciting.
6.9 million will get you there. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. And then on top of it, we're bringing higher education into the ward. It'll also be a gateway for people to say, hey, I want to continue my education. Well, you'll be able to walk into this building and they'll be able to direct you and lead you in that direction for you to continue your education. Once again, you won't have to travel 35, 45 minutes outside of the ward in order to seek these things. You can get up, walk out your front door, walk down the street, and go continue your education. So we're bringing that into the ward, which is important.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Very good stuff. Well, as you said, Councilman, this is really important. It takes a team to accomplish a lot. And you posted this on social media. I like that you said, thank you for all you do, Captain Hank, with the Bolden Area Command and with our community. And of course, Metro is as a great partner with the city of Las Vegas, and you've got a great relationship with Captain Hank.
You know, I do. Our Bolden Area Command is special, and we've had some great leaders that come through there as captains in my tenure of being a resident there. Captain Hank is one of them. He's just very responsive. He's on top of it. Bolden is very community oriented. With their COP program, with their sponsorship of Bolden area Little League that takes place. Now we have a soccer league that takes place with Bolden. And it's just great to know that we have a partner in bettering our community. So many people look at law enforcement as a detriment, but they are an adversary. And if you work with them, they will work with you. And I think that's important to get that message out. Captain Hank is easily accessible. Bolden is easy accessible. They show up at our events. They showed up. We had a cleanup this past weekend. Bolden was there.
That's right. They took part.
And it's just great to see them engage in our community. So thank you to Captain Hank, and thank you to everyone at Bolden that commits themselves to bettering our community.
That's one of the things, the tenets that Metro's had. They've really tried to work with the community as opposed to just all of a sudden, come with the hammer.
I agree. And look, Sheriff Lombardo it starts at the top. The sheriff is a community-oriented sheriff and creates that environment throughout all of Metro.
Creates that relationship.
And look, nothing's perfect. There's challenges throughout any industry. But the sheriff isn't shy about addressing those challenges and seeing how we can make them better.
All right. Councilman, I love this too. One of the things is if you got a good job, you hope to have your own home someday, right? So this was a really wonderful program. Make Home Possible. This took place at City Hall, and the idea here is to get more people, give them the opportunity to own their own home.
Yeah, great program with a partnership with Homey and the work that they're doing to try to get people access to capital mortgages so they can go out and buy their own homes. We had a representative from the Raiders come out as well, and just so many people who are committed. The largest investment most people are going to make in their life is invest in a new home. The fastest way to generate wealth is through property ownership and through home ownership. And historically, especially for black people, we have been denied that right and that privilege to own homes, to receive mortgages through predatory lending, through redlining, what have you. And so we want to help dispel that and get people on the right path. Many people don't know, and it's interesting, because of the fact that they come from a family that has not owned a home. It gets in your mentality that you'll just always rent, that you just always find some place to live, instead of saying to yourself, how do I own my own home? Well, this program is going to help you and walk you through that process. And
that's an admirable thing.
It is. And look, and there's no shame and not knowing that process. But if you do have a desire, you need to reach out.
Yep, exactly.
And let them know.
And they'll guide you through.
Yeah,
That's
because
the idea. Yeah.
we want to help you.
Right.
Yep.
Councilman, we've celebrated Black History Month, Women's History Month. Exciting time. Observe those. Love the Mod Museum celebrated Black life. I thought that was a great way to tie in with the historic.
Black History Month.
Yeah,
and it was a great program. Kathy Thomas from our team also participated in that, and you can see the persons, the great individuals, historic individuals in our community who served on the panel. Very nice of the Mod Museum, Jonathan Ullman and team, to create that great dialogue. I'm sure they have it online at the Mod Museum. You can check it out if you missed it. But what a great program.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff all the way. And of course, there's the museum right there. And then, Councilman, I love this too. You were in a podcast about unique health issues in Ward 5.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
So Roseman University, the dean, Dr. Dean Joe, has a Cuba Pete podcast, and this is the first launch of it here. They've done it in Miami. Dr. Brewster as well is there, and just great conversation about how do we dispel and work on the healthcare initiatives for our community. And it ties exactly into what we're doing with the 100 Plan in Action. We're looking to build a wellness outreach facility within the ward to help people become healthier in our community, whether that is better eating, better quality foods, exercising, taking your medication. We have a long history of pre-existing conditions which have exposed us to contracting COVID at a much faster rate. We need to come in and dispel those. And so this podcast, let's just talk about that in general.
It's good.
And then also the pipeline to go into medical education. They are great and have great programs in order to try to get people who, not your normal medical student path to go into becoming a physician or anyone in the medical field. They're willing to work with a lot of kids to get there.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
good
great team.
And Councilman, I couldn't let the show go. We're about out of time, but I had to mention this. We talked about it so much. We won the Census Challenge. We beat Reno.
We did, and
not by much, but we beat it.
We won. Councilman Knudsen, Councilwoman Diaz, and I, with Councilman Reese in Reno, made a little wager that who would win the census. We won. Now he has to wear a UNLV shirt or jersey at his city council meeting.
That's right.
If you're out there, Councilman, you need to send a pic soon. Don't delay.
Exactly.
We're waiting for it, and it was great. And I would have proudly worn my UNR jersey if we had won.
If we'd have lost, but we didn't.
Yes,
so we won.
But we won. So great job, Southern Nevada. Great job, Las Vegas.
Exactly, and we did better even than 10 years ago. We had more participation. That's great.
In a more challenging time.
Exactly,
so it's great.
During a pandemic, no less. Exactly right. Well, Councilman, we are about out of time here, but we want to tell everybody out there, hey, we always want to hear from you. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilman Crear, you can find him on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. He's really active. You can also contact him just by picking up the phone. There's the number, 702-229-6405, or send him an email. His address is ccrear@lasvegasnevada.gov. And here, one of his great staff get right back to you then. So, well, great job. That was a full show. We had a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, and we could have talked about a lot more, but we'll save it for next time.
We will. We'll have you back in 6 weeks. We'll do it again.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilman. And don't miss our next show beginning on March 25th with Ward 6 Councilwoman Michelle Fiore. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time around.